Chief Carlson, could you introduce yourself and tell us what you do as a chief for Whatcom County Fire District 1?
Yes, so my name is Rachel Carlson. I currently serve as fire chief for Whatcom Fire 1. And what Whatcom Fire 1 does is provide all hazards service to the communities of Everson, Nooksack, Deming, the Nooksack tribe, and then the unincorporated areas around those populations. So all hazards to us is our fire response, so structure fires, wildland fires. We do EMS, so emergency medical services, our ambulances and medical care teams. Hazmat response, car wrecks, respond to those. We'll do tech rescue like river rescue and water rescue.
So we're here today to talk about the levy lid lift. Can you tell us what the levy means and what it means for the voters?
Yeah, so a levy lid lift is us, the fire district, asking our taxpayers to restore the levy amount to a rate that supports the emergency services we offer. So levy itself is how fire districts fund their staffing, their equipment. It's what keeps firefighters and EMTs coming to your calls. And this levy lid lift is what enables us to keep those services coming, to keep our firefighters and EMTs coming to your calls.
So voters are going to be seeing this levy on the August ballot. So why are they seeing it now?
So for Fire District 1, it is all about call volume and call demand. We've had a 60%, that's 60% increase in calls since 2015, and we need more people to respond to those calls. And then in addition to just having more calls, they're becoming more complex, and that complexity requires additional people to provide excellent customer service. And again, talking about that 60% increase in calls, we're at a point where we need this levy lid lift to meet that increased call demand and that increased complexity in calls.
You mentioned that these calls are becoming more complex. What do you mean by that?
So for Fire District 1 in particular, about 80% of what we do is EMS, and that's emergency medical services. So this is the ambulance and the medical teams. And EMS calls, just by nature of what they are just more complex and require more people.
If this levy does pass in August, what does that mean for District 1?
Great question. So for District 1, that is us being able to continue providing the level of service this community ultimately deserves.
And so what happens if it doesn't pass?
So District 1 has been operating with that 60% increase in call volume and more complex calls using 2022 levy and trying to maintain the staffing we need to reach that demand. If this levy doesn't pass, it's going to put us in a position where we're going to have to consider some pretty hard decisions. And those look like potential for having to reduce staffing or reduce levels of service. And then as an externality of that, reduce level of service or reduce staffing, that is increased response times and not as many people to handle those complex calls.
So how much would this cost the average homeowner?
So for Fire District 1 voters, we're asking to restore our levy to $1.48 per thousand. So for someone who has, in Fire District 1, a home approximately valued at $600,000, that's about $18 more a month than the current levy. And in total, that's about $74 a month at the $1.48 levy lid lift.
So money is tight for a lot of people right now. How can those people be sure that this money will be spent properly?
Fire District 1 is bound by very strict and robust finance policies and laws from the state and federal levels. So we are required to meet and exceed some of these policies for how we take the money, how we spend the money. Fire levies are regulated to provide staffing, supplies, equipment maintenance, things that help us maintain operational readiness. We have a proven track record over 18 years of clean state audits and clean audits from when the district was formed. So we plan on continuing that forward. And we understand that this is your tax dollars. These are funds that you have earned, and it's been our pleasure and honor to be good stewards of that.
Can you tell us what this levy will fund and what impact that'll have on District 1?
Absolutely. So fire levies pay for people and equipment and maintenance of that equipment. So this levy lid lift is going to help us maintain your 10 career firefighters, your admin staff, and all the supplies and equipment we need to keep our engines moving, our aid boxes, ambulances stocked and ready to respond.
Is there any way the district can do more with what they currently have?
Well, I am very proud to say Fire District 1, one of our main tenets is innovation, and we have been working with less since 2022's levy.
So you mentioned there was a 60% increase in call volume. What has caused that?
So what's causing that is growth, more residential, more commercial growth, especially within the communities of Nooksack, Everson, and Deming. And it's not just additional calls, it's the complexity of calls that we're seeing. So about 80% of what District 1 does now is EMS, emergency medical services. And this is our ambulances and our medical teams. And EMS calls at their core are just more complex and require more people to properly handle. So we're receiving more calls, we're getting more calls, but they're also more complex. So this community growth and increase in call volumes and complexity is why we're bringing this levy lid lift to the voters now.
How does this levy translate into keeping our community safe?
Great question. Thank you. So this levy is directly tied to stabilizing and maintaining our current level of service. And for District 1, that is our 10 career firefighters, our DMTs that respond to your call. This levy lid lift would be crucial to maintaining 10 positions, as well as the equipment and maintenance required to keep the equipment on the road. So District 1 has done a great job of making do with what we have. We're about a year away from having to start considering some really difficult decisions. And those decisions look like things of reducing levels of service or services we offer, potentially reducing staffing. An outcome of any of those difficult decisions impacts the community by increased response times and not having enough people responding to those complex calls. So ultimately, this levy lid lift is about continuing to provide reliable and timely emergency services in a system that's facing increasing cost and demand.
Chief Carlson, I want to say thank you for talking with me today and educating us on the levy, and it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Chief Macy. I do appreciate your time and the opportunity to share.